Look, if this video found you, it is simply because you are a high level individual, whether you see that or not, but definitely you have an inner knowing. Excuse me. You have an inner knowing of your own capabilities, and you are on a path of pursuing excellence in your own means. So what I really want to get into is how to really actualize that. How to actualize your inner potential that you see, because your idea of success is different to other people's idea of success. And there is a standardized version of success in today's world. And it's very, very important that I talk about this, that I help you to see and understand, and even just give you a, not necessarily closure, but confirm how you've been feeling inside, because you're definitely not alone. All right. I'm going to share a bit about myself and how, honestly, my story, I'm sure a lot of you will relate to it and will find some kind of resonance there, because I've realized success and fulfillment, more than anything, right, is an internal thing, just as much as, or even more than, it is external, right? I lived my life out of alignment for so long, even though I was super hardworking, super diligent. Honestly, I was the most disciplined person that I know, and still am. But that doesn't even matter if you're living out of alignment. You know, the notable people that we think about and that we see today are people who were diligent in what they wanted to do and what they knew that they were going to be. But for a long time, I didn't know. I didn't have that clarity on what I was supposed to do. So yeah, I was disciplined, but I didn't know what I was doing it for. And it made me feel very, very lost inside. And it kind of gave me this kind of despair, this inner despair that I didn't really understand until these things all started clicking, right? So, I'll probably title this video like Misalignment is why hard work stops working. The thing, I've really been putting this off because I've been thinking about, I gotta do a video, I gotta make sure it's perfect, That is procrastination. And the best thing to do is to just do the thing. If I can click record and just sit here and talk, because it's not like I'm gonna start rambling. Maybe I'm already rambling, but I'm not gonna start talking crap. All right, I'm gonna give you exactly what you need and help you realize how to change this around, so you feel like every single day feels like you're moving in the direction of success. And success, according to Earl Nightingale, is the the continued the daily realization of a worthy ideal. You need to know your worthy ideal, and you need to keep that here. That is your focus. And when I do this, I point to your mind's eye or your third eye, okay, which is really your first eye, because that's what we should be seeing with, because perception is not always reality. But I say that to say this. I just came back from sparring, good couple rounds of sparring, and I was having a chat with one of my sparring partners after, and it made me realize, look, I need to make this video, right? Because for a long time, I was not living in alignment, and I could feel it in my soul. On the outside, it looked like things were going well. I was working in like one of the big corporate companies, one of the big corporate consulting companies. I had loads of good things planned out for me. I just jumped in once they'd literally done a merger, or rather acquired another company that was a cybersecurity company, and they specialized in penetration testing and stuff like that. And I was literally the first, if not one of the first 5 people from this corporate company to jump into this company. So there was a lot of opportunities, and I was in there. I was in this office in Canary Wharf, beautiful place, loads of connections, but I was hollow inside. Hollow, and I didn't understand, and people didn't understand. They're like, oh bro, you're doing an amazing thing, because success, there's this generalized view of success, but it was killing me on the inside, and no one understood that, so I couldn't really talk about that. But what changed my life, honestly, was coming back to nature. And I didn't realize how important nature was. And this is, if you follow me on Instagram, even if you see my reels, if you've been following me for a long time, right? If you've been like part of this journey for a while, you probably have seen the change in trajectory. Okay, it was all about I'm big boy and I'm doing pull-ups and I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? I was very, very beefy. I shot up to 95 kilos. I think that was around the heaviest I've been, like maybe just 200 pounds, just over 200 pounds. And I was beefy and I had the waves, and you know, my whole personality was something completely different to what it is now. But more so, I've just peeled back layers and come back to myself. That's the truth. Okay. And what was a really big part of this self-discovery was sitting in that discomfort for so long and realizing something has to change. Something has to change. And I remember quitting my job, coffee break, with coconut cream. Bang it. I changed. I decided to quit my job and become a chef. Because I was like, look, this 9 to 5 is killing my creativity. I have no life, especially in winter times, like it is now. I leave before dark. I leave before dawn, and I get back when it's dark. All right, I have no life to think, and people are happy with that. You know, climbing the corporate ladder, and I could easily have done that. You know, with the natural skills and capabilities that I have, I can do anything. The last job the last job that I worked at, in my interview, I literally, like, when they asked me, you know, blah, blah, why do you want this job? Or I'm like, I can do anything I want. I can easily do anything I want. And I know that, but it's just about what do I want to do? And that ability to do anything I want and excel in anything started to decline because I realized I wasn't living in my purpose. And I'm like, I can't be in a place where I'm giving 50%, 40%, because that's killing me, because I have so much to give, but I just need to lock on to what it is I'm supposed to do. But this is how nature changed that for me, right? I was living in a really, really dark space mentally, right? I had all this going on, I had like things going on in family, all these kind of things. And I remember one night when like I was up to here with it, my brain was just full, and I didn't know what to do. I just jumped in my car and I went for a drive at night. I didn't know where I was going, but I remember parking up somewhere and getting out of my car. It was a dark, wet night, and I just remember sitting under a tree, sitting under a tree, and I'll never forget this moment because that's when everything just went quiet. Everything went quiet, and I felt peace. That was very, very unusual to me. You know, it was very unusual to me, and I just felt this silence that gave my brain space to think. And after that for me was so magical. The next day I was like, I gotta go back and find this place in the light. And that's when I stumbled upon this forest, and it was the most magical experience of my life. It brought my inner child back out of me, that curiosity, it brought it out of me again. And from there, that's when my life changed. That's when my life changed, because first and foremost, right, you need to find alignment, but alignment comes back to getting back to one, your inner child, finding out what you really want, what you really like. There's everything, there's what you're born with, and then there's everything society and family and religion and friendship groups and circles and again, social culture drops on you to the point where you lose yourself. But it's just like, I don't know, having a piece of jewelry buried under a load of laundry. Speaking from experience, all you got to do is peel back the layers. It's still there. You just got to peel back the layers until you get back to that. And most of us, we feel that we've gone so far, we're so far deep, or we're so far gone that we can't get back to that. And you kind of try and live with this unfulfilling feeling. But I literally, not even that I would rather die, I would die. I couldn't do it any longer. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to follow this path. I'm going to follow the yellow brick road and see where it leads me. Worst, I've got my CV, I've got my experience, and I can always come back. If everything goes tits up, I can always come back. But I'm not going to not try because of the what ifs. All right. So that's really what started my journey. And think about this. Everything that I did, I worked really hard. I pushed myself to the limit in sports, in life, in academics, in everything. are pushed. But the crazy thing is, like, you see, when you look into nature, nature doesn't look like anything tries really, like, is trying super duper hard. Like, we literally see fruits in the summer, you know, or as spring comes, we see the blossoms, and then later we see the fruits. Everything comes timely for the animals and the wildlife to take what they need. When you work with nature, when you work with the laws of nature, everything is smooth for you. And I'm not saying like everything's easy and float, you know, you can just float around. No, but I'm saying that we associate hard work with success. And now, no disrespect when I say this, think about like the cleaners, right? For example, that work like say 12-hour long shifts. They're not the millionaires. Okay, and again, this is just one form of success. I'm talking about monetary success. All right, just because you work like super long hours, that doesn't directly correlate to you being ultra wealthy and ultra successful. It's not the same thing, right? So it's something much deeper than that, you know? So obviously you can tell that, okay, like how hard I work doesn't actually directly correlate to how successful I am. My parents are super hard working, you know, working class parents, all super, like they're super hard working, you know, multiple jobs, right? But we ain't living in no mansion or nothing like that, you know? So this theory of, you know, working super hard is what makes things clear for you. Like, no, that's not true. When you find what you're really good at and you enjoy it, you're naturally going to be super good at it. Why? Because the hard work doesn't feel like hard work, because you're doing what you enjoy. And most people think, oh, there's nothing that I really enjoy. Find that. Find it. And you got to go back within yourself. You know, for me, it was just this holistic journey. This whole journey is a self-growth journey and connecting back to nature. For me, that's being with the plants, that's being with the trees, that's being close to Mother Earth, you know, and helping other people find that spark within themselves for whatever it is that they're doing. You know, in my own personal work, I work with a range of people, a range of different people. I work with people also in the holistic space. I work with people who help others with manifestation. I work with entrepreneurs. You know, I work with people that run sales companies, all different types of people. But it's about getting deeper into your why and strengthening yourself in body, mind, and spirit, creating your own system for yourself, because we are all different. We are all different, and this world is not uniform. You know, you got the bots, right? You got the people that just belong to this system, and their mental capacity cannot see anything beyond that, and that is absolutely fine. But I know you're not one of them. So doing the generic things that works for the generic people is only gonna make you more miserable. It's only gonna make you more miserable. Yeah, I don't want to make this. It doesn't need to be too long, but I just wanted to make this as an introduction. I say introduction, I wanted to get something out there. I'm going to make sure that as soon as I hit the stop button, I'm going to post this. Because fuck perfection. It's all about progress. It's all about progress. And it's all about realizing what you're here for. And it's not as difficult as, you know, it sounds. It's your whole life. Your whole life's journey. Your first purpose is finding your purpose. And you do that by fixating yourself on it. What do I want to do? And how do you do that? Use your imagination. And that's why I say getting back into nature brought me back to my childlike state. Very, very imaginative, very, very creative. And I realized a lot of my visions, a lot of my imaginations, the way I thought, the things that I wanted when I was younger, they have not changed. Not in the slightest. I'm still the same damn like 8-year-old. Just some muscles. And height. And a beard. Okay, I should probably stop now. Sorry. But yeah. Another thing I wanted to say, effort. Effort can be another form of self-sabotage. Like this perfectionism, as you can see, I've been thinking about recording YouTube videos since last year. Alright. Yeah. Perfectionism, that thought of not being good enough. It's just an overworking or delaying. It's literally just delaying yourself from doing what you want to do. You know, what we should be doing, what we should be doing is just allowing ourselves to flow. Allow what's in you to flow instead of putting this perfection blockade or literally getting in your own way. But yeah, I hope this resonates with you. If you can relate, like, definitely let me know in the comments. I'd love to see where you guys are at in your journey. And this is a lifelong journey, this self-growth journey. It stops when you die. So it's really exciting. I hope I ain't got a black eye. I'm puffing this. Shit. Shout out to my sparring partners. Yes. Much love. Stay blessed.